Listen to this. Here is what happens when the president of the United States publicly targets a private citizen for the crime of supporting his opponent. Frank Vandersloot is the CEO of Melaleuca Incorporated, 63 years old. Melaleuca is a wellness products company. He's run it for 26 years out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. Last August, Mr. Vandersloot gave $1 million to Restore Our Future, the super PAC that supports Romney. 3 weeks ago, an Obama campaign website, Keeping the GOP Honest, took the extraordinary step of publicly naming and assailing 8 private citizens who back Romney, titled Behind the Curtain, A Brief History of Romney's Donors. The blog post accused the 8 guys of being wealthy individuals with less than reputable records. Mr. Vandersloot was one of the 8, smeared particularly as being litigious, combative, and a bitter foe of the gay rights movement. About a week after that post, a man named Michael Wolf contacted the Bonneville County Courthouse in Idaho Falls in search of court records regarding Mr. Vandersloot. Specifically, Mr. Wolf wanted all the documents dealing with Mr. Vandersloot's divorces, as well as a case involving a dispute with a former Melaleuca employee. Mr. Wolf sent a fax to the clerk's office, which Ms. Strassel says that she obtained, listing 4 cases he was after. He would later send a second fax, asking for 3 further court cases dealing with either Melaleuca or Mr. Vandersloot. Mr. Wolf listed only his name and a private cell phone number. Some digging revealed that Mr. Wolf was, until a few months ago, a law clerk on the Democrat side of the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. He's found new work. The ID written out at the top of his faxes identified them as coming from Glenn Simpson. That's the name of a former Wall Street Journal reporter who in 2009 founded a Washington company that performed private investigative work. The website for that company, Fusion GPS, describes itself as providing strategic intelligence with expertise in areas like politics. It's a polite way of saying opposition research. When Kimberly Strassel of the Wall Street Journal called the main number at Fusion, asked to speak to Michael Wolf, a man said Mr. Wolf wasn't in the office that day, but he'd be coming in Monday. So when I reached Mr. Wolf on his private cell, he confirmed that he had until recently worked in the Senate. When I asked what his interest was in Mr. Vandersloot's divorce records, he hesitated and then said he didn't want to talk about that. When I asked what his relationship was with Fusion GPS, he hesitated again, said he had no comment. It's a legal thing, he said. Fusion dodged Kimberly Strassel's call, so she couldn't ask who was paying it to troll through Mr. Vandersloot's divorce records. Mr. Simpson finally sent an email stating Frank Vandersloot is a figure of interest in the debate over civil rights for gay Americans. As his own record on gay issues amply demonstrates, he's a legitimate subject of public records research into his lengthy history of legal disputes. All he did was donate $1 million to Romney's super PAC, and Obama's opposition research people are after him to destroy him. He's become a national political focus of attention, aided by the likes of partisan salon blogger Glenn Greenwald and MSNBC host Rachel Maddow. Bloggers have harassed his children, visiting their local social media accounts, and asking for interviews and information. Mr. Vandersloot said that his attackers have misconstrued facts, made false allegations. In February, wrote a long reply publicly stating that he has many gay friends whom I love and respect, who should have the same freedoms and rights as any other individual. The Obama campaign's response in April was to single out Vandersloot and repeat the slurs. Now, Mr. Vandersloot acknowledges that, quote, when I first learned that Obama's campaign had singled me out on his enemies list, I knew it was like tapping a target on my back. The more he's thought it through, The public beatings, the false accusations that followed are no deterrent. These tactics will not work in America. He's even contemplating a second donation to Romney's super PAC.